All right, we are in the 2023 Summer Major, and we're in Tuesday's qualifying round. I am way behind the 8 ball here. I will tell you, if you've got older family members and they have surgeries and they stay with you, oh my gosh. Your time is not your own. So here we go. Now, I went to Tommy's site and looked at it. This course is supposed to be redesigned, so I don't know when they say redesign if they're just talking about like pin placement or if they've totally redesigned the holes, because I've only looked at a couple of the holes here that Tommy's got posted. I haven't looked at all of them, and I haven't played any, so I'm not. Just those first couple don't really look any different. So we'll see. But this one does look like it's a little different because there used to be a rough bump. It seemed like the pin was over in this area, and based off of this image, the pin's back there in the corner. There was a rough bump that you could do here, and I'm not sure. So I don't know if these pictures that Tommy's got on here are the correct ones or not the correct ones. So we're just going to have to go out and play it. And on hole number uno, I'm going to take, let's make sure I got my bag set up right. I think I can take a rock. I'm not sure what balls we need, so I'm going to take a Titan. And if I can, I'll drop it down to a Katana. I think the deal is that it might not be so much on the first shot. It might be about the second shot. But we'll have to see what the second shot is. Now, there's two ways to play this hole. You can go to if the hole is the same right there, you can play it to the left. You're playing, if you go to the right, you're basically going up the hill. And if you're going on the left, it's on the bottom part of the hill. I like to play this. In the past, I've always played to the left. I've tried the right, but it's not, that's not my, it's a whole lot of work to get down there, and I don't know. I've had more success on the left. I did play this when it first came out a little bit on the right-hand side, but for the most part, the left has always been better. My opponent got up there, though. That's a nice shot. And you can see the elevation difference on my opponent's shot. So if somebody's telling you, oh, yeah, I'm doing this, you better find out which side they're going to, because if they're going to the left over here, their shot's going to be a little different. And their elevation's definitely going to be a different deal. Three rings. Hit it one ring great to the left. Yo left. Yo left. Now I'm a little downhill from the cup, so if all things being even, I should actually have to take a little bit of wind off, and my opponent should have to add some wind, and they are quite a bit higher than the cup. So, but I will say this, that they brought the right club, because you could do a rough bump from right there, and I'm not going to have the right angle on that rough bump. If I want to do a rough bump, I'm going to have to get on the little G string down there by the sand. And I kind of like the area that my opponent's in. And with the Goliath, they got the right club. And you can see they did it with the Quasar. So, nice and easy right there. Like, I like the look from the lower part where the old pin was, but this may be one of those deals that you got to play to the course, and I think there is a rough bump right there. I'm not sure. There's min, there's max, there's mid, so I'm about mid club. That's 4 or 5. I'm gonna just do the 4. Well, it's 1.2. It's 3.6, 4.8. Oh, and I hit it great. Ooh, and I barely hit that rough. Barely hit it. The one thing there is the sand didn't look like it was distorting the rings at all. That was just me hitting it great. And I should have actually ran some numbers here. Should have actually set up some math for it. Dagnabbit. I think the wind was, I'll have to go back and look at that. I think it was 4.6. And I did over pull the hell out of that. That's why I hit so close to so close in the sand right there. And I hit it great. Double trouble. Twisted clubs. Alright, hole number 2. Hole number 2. I'm not sure, other than the pin placement, whether that hole was that much different or not. I'm not sure what kind of distance we can get here. That's got to be... I'm not sure which club that's going to be, so I'm going to take several different clubs here. Which way's the wind blowing? That wind's working. If there is a rough bump there, man, that looks like it's a long ways away. So let me make sure I set one of these bags up with a Goliath. I should be able to do that with a Quasar. Maybe even a Navigator. We'll try a Nav. We'll see if a Navigator works, and if that doesn't work, then we'll go from there. Off we go. Into the wild blue yonder. I go first. There's Goliath. There's Guardian. Let's switch that up. Hey, let's switch that up for a back that's got a sniper. And there is a dangerous ass little rough bump. Where am I at? There's max. I'm about mid club. It's 3.7. Oh, I hit it great to the right, and then I hit it great to the left. Ooh. I think I slightly overpulled that. It was at mid club, and I was trying to do a 3.7 pull. I think I added on. Well, let's see how that math worked out. 1.05 times. All right, I got to hit it perfect because I'm not going to learn anything unless I hit it perfect. Dagnabbit. Hopefully you're having a good week. This is not how you want to play your majors, where you come in the middle of the week and you have no practice and you haven't even looked at the holes or done anything. And this is not how to get it done. But the one thing that I have going for me is that I record all my own video. And so I'll be able to go back and watch this video, and every stinking mistake that I made, I'll be able to learn from that mistake. Unfortunately, I don't know whether I've made any mistakes on these first 2 holes because I didn't hit either one of them perfect into the cup. And you don't learn crap. Here we go. Master K's turn. In the hole. Alright. Alright. I do like the fact that we got a couple of rough bumps right off the bat. Hole number 3. What is hole number 3? I don't even remember these freaking holes. Alright, I do kind of remember this hole. Okay, I was hitting into this area. Coming around the bend, and this is one of those, okay, there, you can shoot the ball up here, and they have redesigned this. So like this hole has been redesigned now that I'm sitting here looking at it. There used to be a freaking island right here, and it seemed like the course was out like this, and maybe this was the island, and there was fairway on either side of it, and it was easy to get caught up in it, but it was also easy. And once again, this is one of those ones where if you hit to the left, your elevation, you're here, and here's the green, here's the cup. But if you hit over to the right over here, you're almost straight with it. I mean, it's pretty close. In the past, you were able to come into this area here with an APOC or a rock, something with a lot of curl, and bring it around. If you had a club that didn't have enough power to get you up into this area, you wanted to keep your top spin low so that you wouldn't bleed off, because this will be a popular area for people that come over here of them getting in trouble. I'll tell you the other thing. Now, it'll be curious to see how they work this hole. This area here used to have a lot of movement on it. And it was one of those deals where if you were in this area and your first bounce is coming over and it was hitting here, well, simple. You just push it forward a little bit, right? And then it'll push this forward a little bit. And now you're out here and you can go along with your shot. But this area here was domed. And so you had to be right here. And if you were short and you pushed it forward, well, the farther you go down the hill, then the flatter your shot becomes. And it gets to the point where you'll just dig into the sand and into the rough right there. And so you had to have a club that had enough topspin to be able to push it forward from this spot in order to get over here. But if you put too much, because you have to curl it around in order to get it to come this way, it's really easy of, hey, yeah, I made it here, but then I went off over into this area. So that's why you want to bring, if you use a rock and you don't have a maxed out rock and you're in that area, you just bring out a bigger ball in order to get you into that area. We'll see what I can do with my number 5 bag. We'll see if that's even an area down there, if you can still hit to that area. I'm sure you can, but we'll find out. We shall see. I looked at it, I recognized that I didn't have it selected, and then I moved on anyways. What's the deal? All right. This is another one of those holes that if somebody tells you what they're doing on the second shot, you got to find out whether or not they're hitting it to the left or the right, because if they're hitting it to the left, they're going to have to do a much bigger wind adjustment than if they're hitting to the right. Right? Rusty. Here we go. Getting out on the course. Playing some Golf Clash. I don't even know if you can make that. Three. What do I got for spin? 5 and 2. It's 1.5 per ring, so there's 3. I'm gonna do that much. Max curl. Oh, if I'd hit it great on the left or perfect would have been fine, but great to the right might be problematic. Was able to make it around there, so from that angle I could put, I had 5 topspin on there, I could have put 6. The one thing I don't like about that shot is I'm so far back that I like the fact that they give you numbers. So like right there, they're at plus 16, now they're at plus 7. And I was so far back that I was outside of the range. I was in the negative numbers. I wish they'd show you negative numbers on there, like, hey, you're at -4, negative, because it would be so much, it'd be so cool. Because there's no marker out there, so trying to find that spot again. And what I was looking for on that shot was my second bounce. I wanted to, when I put the curl on there, thinking about where my second bounce would hit, and that even though the way the ball guide looked, it was going to hit into the rough or the sand, when you add that curl in there and it's pulling it around. There's Max. And a Max Grizzly. I'm just going to do a straight up shot. 4.3 divided by 0.9. 477. I'll do 4.8. There's 475. There's 4.8. My timing is just that little teeny bit. I keep hitting it in the same exact spot. And I hit it. Did I hit that great to the right? And I came and that close, so I think I didn't pull it enough. I needed to add on a little. Just a bit. But once again, I'll never be able to tell until I hit a perfect one in there, because then you can kind of at least get a read when you hit it perfect, and hey, I missed on the, it was an over pull, so I need to take a little bit off, or I need to add on a little bit if it was an under pull. If it's a long ways away, you can go from, it may be the difference between going from plus 10 to plus 20. But if it's right there, it might just be the difference between just adding on 0.1. And so you do what you did and you just add on 0.1 or 0.2. Or you take off 0.1 or 0.2. Isn't it perfect? Wish I'd hit them second shots perfect. Dag nabbit. Eagle. I'm not sure what kind of scores we're gonna have here in Rookie. From what I've seen on these first 3 holes, we got great opportunities on these first 3 to pick up a shot. So I'm not sure that the course so far, this hole has a little bit of difference to it, but I'm not sure that we're talking some drastic deal here. I'm not even sure that we're in new pin placements, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what they've changed. We'll have a better idea as we go through it. But this one definitely has changed as far as the island that was up here. They redesigned that. I think the course was a little bit wider, and this might have been right where the island was at. But this bottom part hit about the same. This was a little bit different down in here, but I don't think it was that drastic. I will say this, that in the past, you had to really get out here in order to get into your long iron range. Even where I was at, where I was right there at the red line, typically this was a sniper shot into the cup unless you really got dug into it. So it feels to me like they've shortened this up a little from what it was before, but we got a great opportunity there to pick a shot up. What do we have here? This par 4. Okay. So in the past, this is one of those holes that I would definitely, if I was you, put in your backspin sand wedge, and backspin rough iron. Because if you can get onto this island, you got a shot from out here. It's not that you don't. The deal is that this green right here goes like this. And so the rough shit comes all the way up into this area. So I mean, if you're trying to do any kind of a rough, it is difficult. It's going to come out with a really irregular bounce. And so if you could get up into this area and really kind of dig into it and not have to come in it with some speed, because there's not a lot of distance from the cup to the edge here, that it's very easy if you're trying to get out in here that you end up in this rough. And it's not a bad shot with a rough iron, but it's one of those ones that it's better served if you can do it with backspin. That way you don't have to deal with that rough that's in the front. I think in the past, let me set up a bag for this. I think in the past, let me put a Goliath in this bag just so I have a Goliath in a bag that's going to stay there. This, I think it was a big topper. And I don't think from that area that I'm actually in. This is a great hole for a Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper's at 60%, so it's at 1.9. Oh, 1.8, excuse me. Let's select that. Hornet. I think if I get up into that area, a Hornet will work fine, but a Kingfisher might work. It's 1.2. Trying to think about what clubs. I think the Hornet will work fine if I get up there. Could take a Thorn. Let's take the Thorn. And then as far as a sand wedge, I'm going to take a Houdini. 1.9. And for rough iron, I'm going to take a Machete. Let's think about this before we make some rash decision. I don't think the Nirvana's got enough, even though 70 seems like a lot. I don't think it's enough. That ball guide blows. I don't like any of my options here. I suppose if my Junglist was maxed out, I might like it better, but not really. I do get a little teeny bit more with the off-roader, but I don't think that's going to make that big a difference. I'll take the Machete. I'm going to take the rough. I'm going to take my Nirvana. Now, I told you to take a Machete, so let's take a Nirvana, and if I get into that area, then I can show you, like, we can see the deal. This is also a hole, I think, depending on what clubs you got in your bag, you may need to bring out a big ball in order to get to the area. I think you can hit over the creek. I think with the big topper, I was hitting on the tee box side of the creek and then getting one bounce there and then another bounce on the fairway on the other side of the water, and then trying to get the bounces right so that you could get through the rough onto that pad. A topspin boost ball, which, like the last time I played this hole, we didn't have topspin boost balls in the game, and a topspin boost ball might work really, really well. Depending on your clubs and depending on where you can get out there. That's the thing about a lot of these balls. And this hole looks shorter than it used to. a lot of the balls that are in the game have really. Are you not going to do it? You're just going to hit it out there? Okay. I've taken a lot of, if you've got mid-level clubs, a lot of holes you can bring out a bigger ball and really give yourself a great opportunity. And my opponent, where they're at right there, that's a pretty decent spot. Four, 3. It's 2.1 per ring, so there's 4, 2. I'll do a little. Hitting it perfect. I have to get it better than that. I've been in that spot right there about a lot. I've been on that pad a lot, but I needed to put a little teeny bit more curl on it. Where I was at, if you go to the right, if you look to the right, I'm pretty close to being in the fairway. Not enough curl. And the Thorn is definitely a good club for that, because you don't want to mess around with the front of this green too much. That looks good. I'm not sure where they're at in their club. Perfect. See if they can backspin that in. It's got to look. Ooh. That was close. That was close. Close. There's max, there's mid. So I'm at the 4 per ring range. The front of this green is a little bit different, I think. And the 4 per ring. Did 0.9. Hitting it perfect. We'll find out if that was close. And I was off just a little. I underpulled it slightly. Could have just did a ring. Birdie. The birdie. I'll be curious to see what the scores are on this, because we do have a lot of opportunities to pick up shots. So far, at least, as far as minimum score goes, it's been pretty straightforward. Let's see what hole number 5 has in store for us. Which way is the wind blowing? Side wind. And this hole looks super busy. All right. Which way were we going here? It seems to me that we were hitting out into this area. Obviously, there's a bunch of different ways that you can go at it. I've seen people go at it up. Now, some of this stuff over here does look a little different. This area in the middle looks about the same, but it just depends on what angle you want. This area what I like about this right here is that if you can get out to the tip out here, and you take the green and you draw a line with the sand trap there, I mean, you're pretty much, you're looking at this fairway, you're taking the sand, all of this shit that's down here by the green that they put in here, all these traps out of play. When you hit over into this area, depending on what ball club combo, you may have to bounce it over and run it up, or if you can get over the little tongue. If you get into a red line situation, you may have to hit from a spot that you don't really want to in order to maneuver around the traps. this area up in here, unless you can get way down there to the end, which I'm not sure that you can. You might be able to, depending on what balls people bring out. Like this would be your target area. And obviously the farther you could get out, the better it is, because you get a little longer look at the cup before you encounter a trap. Whereas if you're up in this area and you're coming at the cup, you may have to pinch it up a little bit. You may have to bring out a club that has a little bit of backspin, or have to put some backspin on it when you're taking that shot. I'm going to try to get down into this area right here and see if the same angle is working for us. To get that miraculous stuff done, I'm just going to should be able to do it. I probably can do it with an extra mile. And a sniper. We'll see. This might be one of those areas. Let me look at my bag real quick here. Let me change that one bag up. This is another benefit of recording your own videos, that you can go back and see what clubs you used on it. When you make your notes, you can set your bag up exactly like your notes need. And when you're practicing it, you don't really know what clubs you're going to need, so you may change some bags around. I'm going to leave that Goliath in there because I am not going to be in my Goliath range. And we'll see if the Thor's hammer will work. Thor's hammer doesn't hit as far as the extra mile, but it's got much better ball guide. So, and it's got the same top spin. So I'm losing a little bit of raw distance. I think like 5 yards of raw distance. But quite a bit more ball guide. Quite a bit. And this may be a big topper. You know, they got a 1 power or a 0 power ball, so I think I was bouncing it over from that island and using a big topper and not trying to do the max overpower. Yeah, I was sitting from that island just like my opponent is, and then running it out. Because you're pulling back from the red line, you can use your big topper and you can maximize its top spin. It does look very nice just hitting it straight forward. Looks pretty easy. Don't get in the rough. We'll see what that looks like. That actually might not be too bad. Just hitting it straight forward. That's pretty easy peasy. Anytime I can take traps out of play, I'm always interested in that though. Shit. Where's the red line? I got lots of room. .39, 2.1 per ring. There's 4.2. That I'm gonna do just a titch more. Next curl. 1 ring grate on the inside, 1 ring grate to the right. It's not problematic here, but it's problematic on the end. If I over curled it, it'll run out of fairway. Need a little teeny bit more distance there. My big topper would have been a better choice. I had plenty of room on the red line forward, and you can see I almost made it past that sand trap up there. I should have a pretty straight shot at the cup, but if I would have brought a big topper, I would have netted a little bit more distance. And that isn't a bad look right there off that tongue. Let's see if they find their red lines. Yeah, they're at the +3 mark, so they're probably eking towards mid. I dusted off one of my accounts I haven't played in a long time that's got lower developed stuff in it to do a wind ring, some wind ring videos, just to put some new content out there for new people that are in the game. And see what kind of run we can get. I'm going to do a straight up shot, and I'm not going to add any adjustment other than just normal. .39. Get lined up with the wind. There's 3.9. Hitting it perfect. Finally hit a shot into the cup perfect. What's the deal with that? Woo! In the hole. In the hole. I guess you just do a straight up shot on that. Max Club, normal wind adjustment, 1 per ring. 1-to-1, Max Club. There we go. In the hole. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? Alright, if I remember correctly, this par 3 sucks. To be honest with you, I have no freaking clue why they have, like, I don't know if they're spectators, like, I don't know who the hell is standing up here on the A slope, but I actually may practice this hole because this was, and this is a hole that we have to do a massive wind adjustment on as well, it seems to me. If I remember correctly, this is one of those holes we do like a 60 or 70% adjustment on. Now, we are in a much better spot here because we can go straight at the cup as opposed to having to come around. But I can tell you that from the pro and at least from the pro tee, this hole blows. Let's just play it. Let's just play it. That bag should work. Let's make sure, just in case, if I need to, I can switch to that Guardian. I think it's a sniper shot, but it might be a Grizzly. I can't remember. Well, let's take a Quasar just in case we need the spin. All right. Better take a Katana. I might need spin on it, so let's take a Katana. Let's have access to it, and if I don't need it, I can always switch, but I think I do need a Katana on it. Not sure what club. Bun Runner. Portillo Cove. This is one of those holes, though, that if you had a big side spin ball, you might be able to come into this area right here if you had like a 4 or 5 side spin ball and be able to side spin it up to the cup and do that rough bump. This is not typically my cup of tea type of rough bump. I like T rough bumps. And this is more of an I rough bump. And the deal with that is you hit it great to the left. You're either stuck in the sand, and you have to bounce farther in order to get out of the rough, and it's easy to get caught up. And if you hit it great to the right, you miss the rough. And the most important part of a rough bump, that's right, hitting the rough. 4.5 max. I'm just going to play it at max regardless. Hey. I got so much shit on the screen I can hardly see what I'm doing. Where the fuck is the hole? Oh, there it is. .65 rings. There's 5, 6, 7, 6, 5 exactly. Hitting it perfect. Boom! In the hole! Woo! Look at that. That was with a 70% adjustment. In the hole. All right. And really the deal is that at least that hole right there, the first 3 holes have serious opportunities. The one par 5 that I picked up definitely has a serious opportunity. That hole right there was just a little bit of, maybe just a little bit of luck, but I can think of another par 3 in the game that we do a massive, 2 other par 3s in the game that we do massive adjustments on. And if you can get, if you're willing to be brave enough to do a 70 or a 60% adjustment, you could have some success on them. But I'm going to take that, and we'll see if we can get that again during the course of the week. But I really liked holes number 1, 2, 2, and 3, and 5 is also an awesome hole to look at. But we'll take it. We'll count that as if you can't be good, be lucky. All right. Now we just played this hole, and this is definitely a hole I need to practice again in order to find the freaking spot. Or I could go back and, what tournaments have we played this in? We played this in the Open. Hold on one second. All right, I wanted to go back. We played that hole in the Coastal Cliffs here not too long ago, and it was hole number 6 of the Coastal Cliffs. So let me look at it. So what I had set up, yeah, let's go look at it. Hole... Let's go find that tournament again. The Major. The Summer. Alright, hole number 7. Alright, hole number 7. And what I did here was, coming out into this area, I'll zoom out there. There is a spot on this rock. There's a little white area here, but I had my blue ring up against the transition between the fairway and the first cut of the rough, and I had my white ring right up against the rock. And there's a spot. We'll see if I can find it. This is another one of those ones where you're into the negative numbers, and it would really be nice if they would give you negative numbers on it, and you're hitting, it's pretty damn close out into this area. And I believe, if I remember correctly, I was having a little bit of issues on this hole, and I'm just wondering if I can't just curl it around instead of trying to do a max overpower hook and taking it over. If I can't just start off in this area and just try and curl it around the deal. So we draw some lines here from the tee box. If we're in this zone and I want it to come up into here, we're looking at that kind of an angle. I could probably get that done from this spot with my Apocalypse. I'm just not sure I got enough to get me over. This is another one of those ones where you need to get enough topspin to get you over so you don't clip the rough and just bump out. But the catch-22 on that is that that's what you needed to get over for the first bounce, but now you got all this freaking topspin on it, and you need to come to a stop relatively quickly, or you're going to run. And that's what I was doing last time we played this, is I kept bleeding off, and I kept making changes to tighten it up so that it wouldn't do it, and then the changes actually, I was taking topspin off, and it was actually getting me further and further out in here, and I kept making the shot shorter and shorter. I did end up in the right spot several times during the week, but it was like, this should be super easy. Same thing here. If you're coming out into this area, you're trying to cover this angle, which is even worse than this angle. That's what I was saying. If you brought out, my opponent was here with a low power ball. If you brought out a bigger power ball where you could come up into this area, you might just be able to rough bump it out. It can be difficult shots to get up here because this area right here is on a slope. And there are some difficult shots that are over there, even though you're not that far away. Let's practice this once. Let's practice this hole one time. And let's see what we need here. I think if I went out here with like a 4 side spin ball, and it doesn't have to be a big power ball, although if the only balls you have, I actually bought, there's a couple of balls that I have, quite a few of that I bought just for side spin. And I've had to use, like, I don't have a lot of low powered extra side spin balls. There's been several times I can think of where I've used like a 4 power ball, even though I only needed a 2 power ball, but it was the only ball I had that had 5 side spin. So I had to pull it way back from the red line. We'll see. Oh, I think I didn't practice. I just played it. Oh, I did practice. Whew. Good, good. And you see where that bounce is. Let's see. 3. Hitting it perfect. And see if there's enough curl in that spot to get me around on a right trajectory. If I hadn't hit the rough, I ended up on the rough on the other side. I may need that topspin to get over. Alright. Alright. Now this is exactly what I was talking about, where if you bring in a bigger power ball and you put on backspin and side spin and curl, you can throw the ball over there. The first time it hits the ground, because backspin doesn't take effect until the first time it hits the ground, or side spin. And so when it hits the ground, it really takes a jump over there. That's nice. Nice shot. That shot works fine. And my opponent may have the right idea right there. I mean, that's probably, safety-wise, that might be the way to go. Might be. In the hole. All right. I want to get that result, but I do not want to end up in the rough. One thing I will say about the shot that my opponent did is on days when you have any kind of positive wind, pure side wind, even a little teeny bit of headwind if it's on the side, you can probably do that. But if you had a big headwind day, you might have an issue there. You might have an issue just getting over. Let's see what my ball inventory will lead me to believe. I will say this is definitely one of those holes that if you can get the eagle on it, you do whatever, you pull whatever you got in your bag to get that eagle. And I bought these balls. The backspin boost in Rookie is not really a deal, but I bought them because I wanted some side spin balls that had more than one side spin. That might be a good ball to bring. Let's try it. We'll do what my opponent did there. You can go to YouTube and type in OUGHT, ODOT, Coastal Cliffs, and you can pick one of those videos there. I think the one, there was the opening round, and then hole number 6. I'm doing the max overpower hook shot on that, but I had some success that week. But the deal was that this is a hole that we really want to do whatever it takes to get an eagle every time. And you really kind of want to have, because like if you have this shot, if this is the only shot that you have, you might have problems, like I said, on headwind days. So it may be one of those deals that you want to have several shots in your bag for this hole, just depending on what the wind is. We can obviously play this without bringing out anything monstrous, but let's bring out something monstrous just because. Why not? Let's try it that way. We do have a little bit of headwind today, so that's what I was talking about with the side headwind. I should have looked to see what the needle stability was on this ball. Boogeyman, the Albatross King. I am the Boogeyman. There's 5 backspin and 4 side spin. Three. There's 3. One ring great to the left. I guess that shot works. I guess that's the way to do it. Why make it hard on ourselves? I have plenty of room there if you only had 3 side spin. I mean, obviously my opponent did it with a 2 side spin ball, so you don't have to have but it definitely made it easier with the with the 4 side spin. Where in the hell do you think you're going? Okay, there you go. Come on, dude. Where the hell do you think you're going? I'm going to repeat the question. And you're doing overpower. You are going to be way in the rough. The only thing that you did good right there was hit good. That actually helped them. Because think about how far they would have been into those rocks if they hadn't hit it good. This is why I'm thinking about doing some new wind ring videos, because I went out and I pulled my account up the other day. I have an account and I have not played any holes beyond Tour 5. And I already have one of my commons maxed out, and I have all of my up to Tour 3 commons are in the almost maxed out. They're level 9 and I've only got like 1900 games in it. But because I'm not, if you go to Tour, so like I have a couple Tour 6 clubs only because of the golden shot, but I haven't played any Tour 6 or Tour 7, so I don't get any, like, those cards aren't clogging up my any of the Tour 6 or Tour 7 cards. I'm not getting any of those when I get prizes. And so I'm not diluting my, I'm trying to max out my commons before I move up, and then I can start participating in the club card trading and get some of my rares up quicker. I've tried to shoot the video several times, and I don't normally script stuff out, but I'm actually trying to make some notes so that I can follow the notes, because the video is trying to keep it within the time frame. Hold number. All right. This is definitely, I think this right here is one of the best par threes, like most eagleable hole-in-one par threes in the game. No, that's not it. This isn't it. I was kind of hoping it was it, but this is not it. This is one of those, if I remember correctly, this is a domed par 3 that blows. And it's easy to roll past it. We will see. I think it's pretty much straight up at it. Actually, let's not practice. Let's just play it. Let's take that back right there, and we'll just take a navigator, cut the wind down. Cut it down. Golden Eagle. All right. I go first. There's men. Do I play it at, I'm going to play it at max. That's 3.12 rings, and we'll see how it goes. Hitting it perfect. Woo! In the hole. And I just played it at max. It was 1.2. I played it with a 20% wind adjustment at max club, so it was 1.2 times 2.6 was 3.12. That was it. I pulled back to max, and then I tried to pull 5 rings, and I pushed my line right here, this black line. I tried to put that right where the red line was, then I pushed it forward 5 rings so that I gave myself enough room to work out wind. And I tried to put myself dead center in the middle of that fairway. There's probably a no move shot right there. You'd have to do a little teeny bit of side spin, but I think it was offset a little to the left if you wanted to do a no spin. It seemed like it rolled out even for my opponent. Like, you look right there, it's pretty damn flat. And this hole before, there was like a bowl right there, and like it would be running right to the cup, and at the last second it would drift off, and it was really easy to roll past the cup. So I kind of like whatever they did to that hole. I kind of like it. We'll take it. We will take it. All right. So we got third and second got 14s. So we'll see what the person is in first. When we get done with this hole, let's look at which way's the wind blowing. We got side wind here. What is the hole? What is hole number 9? Man, I'm trying to just remember. Okay. I remember this hole now. And there is a very specific way that I like to play it. And I do not remember what stuff to bring out or what the deal is. So I'm not sure, however, but I will tell you that you can do several things. You can hit it over into this area, and you have a pretty straight shot, and Unless you bring out a really big ball, you might need a big dog or a big hitting wood. Horizon, Cataclysm, you know, a big hitting wood. And you may need, just depending on what ball you bring out, you may need the topspin, so a Guardian might not work so well. What I like to do here is, instead of hitting it out to this area and taking the straight shot up, there are some benefits to this. You take these traps kind of out of play because you're just dealing with fairway. The one tricky thing about this is you don't want to end up in that sand. I've seen a lot of people hitting over to this area and then they screw their layup shot up, and that's not going to do you any good because you can't recover from there. I like to come into this area right here, and there is, or at least there was, you had several options that you could do here, but there was a rough bump that you could do up in this area. So if you got out, if I can get my pen to work, if you got out into this area, if we draw some lines and we do our arc, we're definitely a shorter shot from here than you are out here. So you can bring a sniper, and there is a rough bump that you can do right here going right to the cup. And if you're a little short in this area, you can come out here and you can do the same thing we did on that last par 4. Is you can do a max, you can do a backspin, side spin, curl shot, and set yourself up. Like, let's say your red line's up here, you come to the spot where you can get pinched up in your red line, and you're going off in this area, and you put backspin on it and side spin and curl to whip it around to lay it up here in front of the green. But I think there's a rough bump that's there. Let's practice this hole one time. And I'm pretty sure this might be a good bag for this, because we get good ball guide with it. We'll bring a Kingmaker. Running out of Titans. Let's buy some Titans just to make sure we do have some. Let's go practice this hole. Let me clear a slot. Never want to play without an empty slot. We're farmers. You're not farming if you're not harvesting chests. Getting some rewards. Get some practice tokens. There we go. All right. Clearing off the desk. Yeah. Got one there. I think I had a club that could get upgraded as well. I did. I got my Falcon to level 5. This always cracks me up. We work our asses off to get club cards, and then we've got to pay money to have our club upgraded. Once you've played for a while, it's not that big a deal, but when you first start playing, I will tell you that you don't want to upgrade your clubs. You want to be very selective about what clubs you upgrade, and at a certain point you'll get enough cash that you can upgrade all your clubs. But as you're working your way up, just because you can upgrade a club doesn't mean you should. If it's a club you're not going to use, don't upgrade it. You can upgrade those clubs later. But even some clubs, I think it was Sniper, I didn't play with it until I got to like level 3, or there's some of those clubs that's like, hey, it's not worth upgrading right now. That cash is more important just to get out on the course and play and do stuff, instead of upgrading a club that you're not going to use right there. It's not effective. But you will have to pay for it. All right, let's practice that once. Let's practice it one time, because I can't remember what I need to do on the drive. As far as, you really do want to get out there as far as you can, but we don't want to have to try and get out there where we're 2 blades of grass away from the rough. That's not going to cut it for me. I want to be close, but I don't want to ever roll off into the rough. If you're doing a layup shot, and the first shot here is a layup shot, you're trying to put yourself in the right spot so you can take that shot to the cup. Let's not screw ourselves by overhitting it. Here we go. Hole number 9. pull back to the plus. One. That's 1.5 backspin and 3 side spin. Almost 3, 4. It's 1.7 per ring, so 2 rings is 3, 4. I'm just going to do a straight up adjustment. We'll see if it pushed us over. I'm going to lean just a little. And I hit it great, so I got all that shit going for me. And it definitely did push me. I barely missed that rough. I hit it great on the right, and it put me more towards the rough, but it definitely pushed me. I wasn't that far off of that rough on a 1-ring great. Let's see what my opponent does. I like what I did a lot better, where I put you have a lot more control over it. What in the hell are you like trying? You didn't adjust for the wind, and now you're trying to adjust for the wind by doing a little bit of lean to the left. And you did top spin. I'm going to do a straight up shot wherever I'm at in my club. I think this is absolutely flat. So there's max. I mean, max club. And I don't have really any more distance that I can pick up out on the course. So if I want to get any closer, I'll have to bring out a bigger ball to make this second shot work. One nine. I'm going to push up a little. Oh, fucking, I hit it 7,000 rings great to the left. I was in this exact, I was right in front of where I'm at right there. I was actually literally just barely onto the fairway, kind of like in the same angle that I'm at right here. And I was dicking around, and it was actually in a tournament. You're so close. We used to be able to do dunks, and they were like, it was a lot easier. But they changed the dynamic of it, and it's easy to bounce off the pole. And I was that close, and I clipped the pole, and it bounced off the rim of the cup and bounced out. I was just dicking around. It's like, you can't miss these shots. Shit, you're so close. You can't miss them. Oh, yeah, I missed it. Learned a valuable lesson that day. Don't dick around with rough doing dunks. Oh, fuck. Oh, I can't believe that went in. Unbelievable. I'll take it. Can't be good, be lucky. That right there was 100% luck. I just figured I was going to drop one of those shots. I picked up 3 and figured I was going to drop one on the last hole. But I didn't have enough room in front of me, especially if it was a headwind. I didn't have enough room in front of me to work out any kind of positive or negative wind, and really wasn't able to get into a spot where I had a great shot. So I think in the future I'm either going to bring out, I'm not even sure a 4 power ball will be enough. Like if I really want to take that shot, I'll probably have to bring out a 5 power ball just to make sure that on headwind days. And the deal is it changes how the club hits when you're bringing out a bigger ball like that. So it's, in my opinion, it's better to just use that ball every round so that you can try and get things standardized, as opposed to trying to switch it up from one round to the next depending on the wind. All right, let's see where that put me. Oh, that was practice. That was the deal. All right. Whew. All All right, all right, all right, all right. So we had that bag right there. I think the deal is, and I really don't have a big inventory of balls. So I think in my... Let's take one of these balls right here in this round. I'm gonna take that bag. Now the other way I could do that is I could bring out a bigger hitting. I could bring out like a Horizon would be good if you wanted to do a rough bump down there. It's definitely going to give you the top spin you're looking for. All right, let's try that. Let's try that setup. I got a Power 5 ball on my Thor's hammer with a Power 5 ball is 1.6 per ring. And I'm going to add on a little bit to the wind because I definitely got pushed off last time. So I'm going to add on, let's do 15% times whatever the wind is, divided by 1.6. Winning matches is not as important as getting a low score. Black Company. Anybody out there is a sci-fi and fantasy reader, there's a series of books, the Black Company series by Glenn Cook, are some of the best sci-fi war type books that you'll ever read. They're great. High fantasy, magic, the whole 9 yards. Are they trying to bounce off that rock? Okay, I have no freaking clue what my opponent's doing. They're doing a max overpower hook, but I'm not sure where they're going. Other than in the bunker. What kind of deal is that? Okay. I think it was a couple and... It was a couple and 3. Let's see where I'm at. I'm going to pull back to the plus 2 mark. It'll be 2 rings off. $2.7, 2 rings, 2, 1.97, 2. And just hit it. Perfect. And that is about as close as I want to get. All right. I'm going to do it just a straight up shot, 1-to-1. So I'm definitely going to be at max club. My opponent can make it from there, I think. Well, maybe if they bounce off that rock, they might. Jeez, dude. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That is rough. All right. A couple rings off. $2.3. There's 1, 2. Oh, that fucking rock is killing me. That shot's not going to work out. That rock is killing me. The wind adjustment, it was bouncing there. Slow down. Look at the cuts, how sharp the cuts are there. I think that ball had enough speed on it that if it hadn't did that little thing and hit that cut, it would have rolled into the rough. That might not be the way to go. I'm going to have to take that with a Horizon. I'm going to have to at least try it out. That way to get a little bit more distance there. And what I really want to do is set it up more to the right, away from that rock. Obviously, because that rock is screwing our adjustment up, but... Oh, look at how small that ring set is. It would be... I would really have to slice it in order to miss. In the hole! Alright. Now we'll find out if we're at the top. At the top. Alright. Let's see what my... that's a pretty nice round for my opponent. A lot of eagles. And what I really... This right here, these 3 holes, these first 3, there's shit tons of opportunities right there. I was able to make some of these ones in the back, but but these first 3 holes, there's some serious opportunities. So the scores this week could be dangerous. Now, they said they completely redesigned it, and I did see some changes, but nothing. It's not a new course, so I didn't see anything in there that seemed like most of the stuff that we were able to do in the past, we were able to do right there. But that last hole, I'm going to have to think about what I want to bring there. I mean, obviously, I had just a little teeny bit of distance from where I landed to the tip up here, but not a lot. I didn't have enough distance from where I was laying to the rough to make up the difference up here. Now, it would have helped, but you don't want to screw this up, because then you're in the same boat that my opponent was in. You're screwed. And if I was my opponent hitting from this area right here, if you can't make that shot, this is one of those things where you come up here and you find out where you run along this edge until you get to your red line, and you pinch it up in that circle. And this is one of those backspin, sidespin curl shots. It may only put you right there, but this is a much higher percentage shot. This is a pretty easy shot. It's not necessarily it's not a freebie, but you definitely have a high percentage shot of making that. And tried to get up there as opposed to pushing it. These rocks here are brutal, and I did not like that wind adjustment against that rock, how it pushed it. Where I really wanted to get was up into this area. I just didn't have enough distance. Getting closer to the cup, I thought my ball guide would run out a little bit better, because it seemed like in this area it was wanting to do. It's like one of those things where it's coming... It almost feels like it's one of those areas where it's coming like this, where the ball guide wants to dig into the ground and it doesn't want to give you the run out. But I thought if I could get into this area right here, that's why I brought out a bigger ball. I thought maybe if I could get more into this area instead of my red line being down here, I might have a little bit better run, but I still didn't have the distance even with a bigger ball. So the way to get around that, the only other way to get around that is to then bring out a bigger club. And the best club that I have for that is going to be a Horizon. I think for a lot of people that's probably going to be the best club. It hits a long ways, and it has ball guide. What it doesn't have is accuracy. So for most of its life, and the deal there is it's not a problem. It's only a problem if you hit great to the left or the right. It's not a problem if you hit perfect. If you hit perfect, it goes right where you aimed it. But if you hit it great to the left to the right, it's way the hell off. But this type of rough bump on the tee here, if you hit it great to the left or the right, you're still in the rough. And it's still going to bleed out. The problem here is on days where we're going to have to make sure we know what kind of an adjustment we need to do on the second shot. Because if we're on headwind days and we don't pull it enough, it'll push us back into the sand and we won't get out of the rough. So that's definitely a hole to work on, trying to get that second shot nailed in. But I think the rest of the holes are pretty straightforward. So there you have it. That's what we got. Good round. What's funny is it's always like you shoot these when I come out and I shoot the course for the very first time during the week. A lot of times I'll post a really big score like this and it's like, damn, I wish this was the weekend round. Because I feel like I could shoot another 16 on the back right now. Or at least be close. At least get a 14. And put out a pretty good score overall. Alright, there you go. Everybody have a great week. It looks to me like minimum score is going to be what it takes to at least get in, -12. And anything you can pick up from there. If what I'm seeing right here is any indication, we're in that same shit that we're in every week, where you got to be a 30, you got to be a -15 plus in order to have any shot. Because think about how these brackets work. This is one bracket that's going to bring 10 people into the opening round, which is 100 people. So that means that there was 10 of these brackets, and so excluding the high and one of the lows, we're looking at there's 10 15s. That means out of the 100 people, 10% got 15, 20% got 14. So there's 30% of the bracket right there. And we got 40% of our bracket got a 13. And so it's really, the bracket should get tighter and tighter and tighter as we go up the deal, up through the rounds. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great week, and I will catch you on the next one.